Okay, my beloved Madridistas, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Madrid on a kind of gray, gloomy day. Okay, let me give you guys my thoughts on this was a really, really important victory for us last night. I was really nervous going into it. Athletic de Bilbao at home is usually a very, very difficult team. Not last night, okay? This was the softest, weakest Athletic de Bilbao I think I've ever seen. But psychologically, a very important victory. I think, in addition to just the 3 points, I think a draw or a loss, the implications, I think, would have been very, very severe at the institutional level. Look, there's no doubt that there are a lot of, really positive takeaways from this match. I mean, the overall play was much better. We finally scored in the first 10 minutes, which, was unimaginable this season. The second goal was a proper collective team goal, the kind of goals I like to see, where multiple players participate. Much quicker passing, much better combination play. Trent put on an absolute clinic in terms of long passing. Kylian is in absolutely incredible form. There are plenty of positive takeaways from this match, but look, I don't want to piss on anyone's parade, but I'm a little bit reluctant to be too enthusiastic because this was like a hot knife through butter. I mean, this was the softest Athletic Bilbao I've seen. This felt like a training match in many situations. But anyway, let me give you guys my thoughts on sort of, the lineup, the match, and individual players. The injuries are, of course, a concern, a recurring problem. But let me give you guys my thoughts on, again, a very, very important 3 points and a big psychological boost. Thanks for joining me. Let's get started. Madridistas, welcome back. Okay, let me give you my thoughts on this really, really important victory. Let's start with the lineup. Okay, so this is the lineup that Xavi came out with. Huijsen is still injured. For some reason, I thought he was coming back, but apparently Huijsen is still injured. He started with Arda on the bench, and I mean, I think there are two reasons for this. I think one, he did want to give Arda some rest because he's played a lot of minutes this year. And then secondly, I think that what Xavi wanted was a lot of muscle in the middle of the pitch. So he came out with what was clearly a 4-4-2 with a highly defensive tilt. So when was the last time that we saw the Tchouaméni double pivot? We haven't seen the Tchouaméni double pivot in a very long time, but it was very clear that what Xavi was expecting what I was expecting, a very aggressive Athletic de Bilbao that was going to be on the front foot. We were both I think everybody in the world was expecting that. So I think he wanted to put a lot of, kind of muscle in the middle of the pitch. And the lineup that we put together was as muscular as we can get, okay? A lineup that includes Rudiger, Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Fede, and Jude. That's as much muscle as we can possibly put together in a lineup. And again, I think it's because Xavi was expecting a very aggressive Athletic de Bilbao, which I was too, and we certainly did not see. Okay, the lineup itself was Courtois in goal, Carreras on the left, Trent on the right, Mili and Rudiger as center backs, Tchouaméni, as I mentioned, Tchouaméni and Camavinga as a double pivot, Fede and Jude, and then further up front, Vini and Kylian. Now, in terms of the match itself, it's kind of funny. The first thing, the away matches, I as I'm watching it, I sort of write notes. It's funny because the first thing I wrote when I saw Gil Manzano is a giant F-bomb in my notes because, this is the ref that I absolutely most despise in this disgusting league. But anyway, okay, the match starts and we had two really, really good chances in the first 5 minutes. And I think this was a sign of things to come, okay? In the third minute, Kylian had a really, really good chance. And we saw an amazing save by Unai. Unai Simon is a really, really good goalkeeper. This was an amazing save. A minute later, a shot by Vini and another really incredible save by Unai Simon. Trent and Carreras were having a very easy time coming up the wings. Athletic was losing the ball very easily in their own half. I mean, they were very, very sloppy, and that was just really facilitating us. We were recovering the ball in great spots. And we, like I say, we had 2 great chances in the first 5 minutes, and I think that was sort of an indication of what was to come. And then 1 minute later, you have this fantastic goal by Kylian. And this was... Well, I mean, this was an absolutely incredible pass by Trent, who really put on a clinic of long passing in this match. It was absolutely spectacular. Kylian receives the ball on the left. By the way, he swapped a lot with Vini, especially in the first half. You could see them kind of swapping, which I think is a really good idea because it does catch the defense off guard. But Kylian receives the ball on the left. He cuts to the inside, gets past 3 defenders, and the shot was just... unbelievable. I mean, it is the perfect, you cannot strike a ball any better than that. It was an absolutely incredible shot. He was starting to slip and fall back, but he delivered an unbelievable shot, incredible power, perfect precision, and just the right amount of curl. It was absolutely fantastic. This was a really great goal. Now, after the goal, you would expect Athletic de Bilbao to kind of, go crazy and sort of raise their game and put us under pressure, but that's not really what happened at all. This was a very apathetic Athletic de Bilbao. Their fans must be really pissed because this is just not what we're used to seeing from them. Okay, in my notes, I also wrote, Gil Manzano, there were so many small fouls that he didn't call. There was a foul on Camavinga. There was a clear yellow card. It wasn't called. Vini, a million fouls on Vini that weren't called. I mean, Vini is like La Liga's punching bag. It's kind of very irritating to see. Okay, in the 18th minute, I was making note that Athletic de Bilbao was not pressing at all, and it was really surprising. And Athletic de Bilbao was doing something that I criticize us a lot for doing, which is that they had, when we were trying to take the ball out of the back, they had plenty of bodies in our half, right? Trying to sort of interrupt our ability to get the ball out, but they weren't biting at all. They were just sort of there, but they were just kind of standing around. So all we needed was 2 or 3 additional passes, and we found it very easy to get out of the back. And then, of course, once we got to the midfield, because all those players were on our side, really far up front, there was plenty of space behind them. So I thought that, I don't know, this was sort of very irresponsible on the part of Athletic de Bilbao. It made our life very, very easy. But our combination passing was quite good and better than we've seen, pretty much all season. In the 20th minute, Athletic de Bilbao started to sort of gain possession and sort of tried to kind of hold on to the ball a little bit and push forward. By the way, the pitch was very slippery. A lot of the ball losses had to do with, the pitch was very wet and, players were sort of slipping everywhere. Vini was very, very active on the left, as I mentioned, but would occasionally switch positions with Kylian and sort of, play the 9 that it would switch back. In the 24th minute, Athletic de Bilbao had a fantastic chance, and we have to mention Courtois because he's the other sort of hero of this match. The reflex save, Courtois' saves are unbelievable, and I just don't know how many times this guy has saved our skin. It's unbelievable. In the 24th minute, Athletic de Bilbao had a chance that 99% of the time you score, but an amazing save by Thibault. He was, like I say, another really important hero last night. Our passing was good. It was crisp. It was sharp. It was faster. It was a bit more one touch than we've seen most of the season. In the 29th minute, we had another unbelievable save by Thibault. This guy's just an animal. In the 32nd minute, Vini almost scored, when he, again, sloppy play by Athletic de Bilbao. We steal the ball in a dangerous place. Vini gets around the keeper and tries to score. There was very, very little angle, and the ball hit the post, but that was, a really, really good chance. Again, very sloppy play by Athletic de Bilbao. Okay, after the goal, this is something I do want to highlight. After the goal, I thought that our play, from the 20th minute to sort of the end of the first half, was way too complacent. I found our play a little bit complacent. We sort of got a little bit too comfortable too easily. And what I wrote in my notes is, since they aren't stealing the ball, we're just going to give it to them. And that's what we were doing. They weren't doing a good job of sort of stealing the ball by pressing, but we were getting a little bit too cute, fancy little passes and back heels, and we were getting a little bit too cute, and I kind of don't like to see that because, 1-0 is nothing. I mean, 1 goal in today's football is nothing, okay? Any team can score a goal off any sort of random situation. So I thought that our play was a little bit, we were in complete control of the match. This is true, but I found we were a little bit complacent. That's just my opinion. Okay, in the 37th minute, another incredible pass by Trent, who put on a clinic of long balls yesterday. Vini missed on this occasion, but like I say, we were playing kind of comfortable. Another thing I noted in the first half was Jude's defensive effort. Jude defensively yesterday was phenomenal. The amount of balls that he stole in all areas of the pitch, he covered an enormous amount of ground, made a huge effort. I think defensively, Jude was really, really, especially in the first half, I thought it was really noticeable. Okay, and then in the 42nd minute, we had the 0-2, and this is the kind of goal that I really like to see because it was an absolute team goal. This is what I call collective play, and these are the goals that I like to see that involve multiple players. This was a ball from Jude to Fede. Fede does what we call a pantalla in Spanish, a screen, so to speak. He lets the ball go between his legs, but because the opposition doesn't know if you're going to control the ball, they sort of stop for a moment, and in that split second, it gives us a huge advantage. Fede lets the ball go through his legs. The ball gets to Trent. Trent puts a beautiful cross into the far post. Kylian heads it, and knowing that he doesn't have an angle to score, he heads it back into the middle, and Camavinga is there to head the ball in. But Camavinga, he bothered to go all the way up and participate in the attack, a player that's playing a sort of defensive pivot position. So this is what I mean by collective play. This is a team goal. These are the kind of goals I like to see, involving the second line of players coming up and participating. I thought this was a fantastic team goal, and really one of the highlights of the night for me. Very good collective play, like I say. Okay, the second half was a lot less eventful, probably a lot less to talk about. Atleti de Bilbao, they tried to be on the front foot, but they were very, very sloppy. Vini continued to get fouled every time he touched the ball. It was kind of very annoying. In the 48th minute, Courtois, another great save. This was a shot from distance, but another very, very good alert save. We looked good on the counter, but sometimes in the second half, sometimes on the counter, it was really just kind of Vini and Kylian. Like, I feel like in the second half, the second line didn't bother to sort of come up as much and participate in the, when we would try to counter, it felt a bit shallower because we were missing that second line. It was just kind of Vini and Kylian against the world. In the 53rd minute, we had the injury in Trent, and this really broke my heart because this was finally a match where Trent was showing us what he's capable of, and he has a fantastic right foot. I mean, it's a glove. Some of these passes are unbelievable. And he was finally having a showcase match where he was showing us what he's capable of. And this injury is just so untimely in that respect. And I think for his morale, this must be devastating. We'll have to see how bad it is. But, Trent was subbed off. Asensio came in, but he didn't play center back. He actually just subbed as right back. In the 58th minute, we had the golazo by Kylian. I mean, he receives the ball at the edge of the box, and it takes a lot of confidence to take that shot, and it takes a lot of skill to execute it this way. This was an unbelievable shot right next to the post. Unai Simon, who's an outstanding goalkeeper, couldn't reach it. Kylian can't be playing any better. This is just crazy. Some of the goals he's scoring. He's playing at sort of Ballon d'Or level. If he keeps this up for the rest of the season, this is Ballon d'Or level stuff. He is playing absolutely out of his skin. This was a complete missile. In the 66th minute, from the 65th minute on, this was just kind of Real Madrid killing the clock. We were very, very comfortable in possession, killing time. Atleti de Bilbao wasn't they weren't troubling us at all. I think Kylian was kind of looking for the hat trick. He seemed particularly hungry because, of course, wanted to score the third. And then in the 67th minute, we had the injury, Camavinga, and this is really unfortunate because he just recovered from one injury and now he gets injured again. This is really unfortunate. Camavinga is a player that I think brings a lot of energy, especially defensively, to our play. And, he has that muscle, that kind of athleticism, that quickness, that elasticity that we need in the center of the pitch, and it's really heartbreaking to see him get injured again. We'll have to see how bad it is. Anyway, Camavinga comes off, out of that comes in the 73rd minute, Atleti de Bilbao, trying to push forward, but never really producing too much danger. I thought Mili and Rudiger were excellent during the course of the entire night. In the 76th minute, at this point, we're just killing the clock. In the 76th minute, Vini comes off. Vini, Militao, and Kylian come off. Gonzalo, Rodrigo, and Brahim come in. And by the way, I'm making a note of this because it's important. Vini and Xavi hugged, okay? So, we need to dispel, for all the hysterical people out there that love to sort of make crap up, Vini and Xavi hugged, which is what you expect in a normal team. So I think that, relations are not as strained as people like to sell. Okay, in the 81st minute, we had a really nice volley by Fede, from outside the box, really good shot and a great save by Unai Simon. I would like to see Fede do more of this. Okay, he has a wonderful right foot. He scored some really, really important and impressive goals with that right foot. I would like to see him do more of this. In the last few minutes, Athletic was trying to push up, but I mean, again, this is one of the worst versions of Athletic Bilbao I think I've ever seen in my life, and I'm an old guy. In the 90th minute, one thing I did note in the 90th minute is that, so you're up 0-3, they're about to blow the final whistle, and Fede gave us a 40-meter sprint, pressing the ball. It was, I thought, this is amazing. I mean, this guy gives you a 40-meter sprint when you're winning 0-3 in the last seconds of the game to press a ball. I mean, it was something that I made a note of because I love this kind of work ethic, and I love players that sort of play to the final whistle. Okay, in terms of takeaways, okay, another injury in the defensive line. I'm getting very frustrated, and I don't know, this feels like a curse at this point. I have no idea what's going on, but another injury in the defensive line. We have a serious problem here. We need to beef up our defense because these guys are falling like flies. This is like 10 little Indians. It's like, who's going to die next? It's I don't know, really, really, really worrisome. Takeaway number 2, Trent. Amazing display of passing. He showed us yesterday, and this is a very valuable tool to have in your toolbox. When you're getting pressed, if you have a right back that can deliver 60-meter passes over 2 lines of defense to one of our wingers, and we have amazing wingers that can do the one-on-one thing like better than anyone, this is such a valuable resource, and Trent showed us yesterday that we have this in the toolbox now. I think it's incredibly valuable, and I'm so pissed off that he got injured because I wanted to see more of that. Takeaway number 3, much better collective play, much better combination play, much quicker passing, one-touch passing. There is no doubt that our collective play was much better yesterday. I was very happy to see that. Number 4, Vinny and Kylian are starting to look more natural, passing the ball to each other, especially in the first half. I thought there were some very nice 1-2s, and it's starting to look natural, okay? Because up to now, I always felt their passing was very forced and kind of, a split second too late or odd. But no, the passing yesterday felt a lot more natural, a lot quicker. I think these guys are starting to understand each other a little better now. Takeaway number 5, we get too complacent after we score a goal, and we need to maintain our level of intensity. Like scoring 1 goal, I did not like the way we kind of got so comfortable so quickly. I know a lot of it has to do with the fact that Athletic de Bilbao was just awful. I mean, they looked so apathetic, but I don't like us getting that complacent. We sort of started to feel like, we got this in the bag, and I didn't like that. I thought our intensity level, dropped in the second half of the first half, and I didn't like that. That worries me. Takeaway number 6, Courtois is a saint, and I think he deserves some sort of sainthood or knighthood or something. This guy's incredible. He saves our ass constantly. Thibaut, you're the best goalkeeper in the world. I love you. Don't you ever leave. Okay, takeaway number 7, the chemistry among players, again, for the hysterical people out there that love to invent stories, they showed the Real Madrid players in the tunnel before they came out on the pitch for the second half, and they were all hugging, talking, high-fiving, giving each other advice. The chemistry among the players is excellent. These players get along really, really well. They love each other. You could just see it. And I'm really sorry for people that need to invent stuff. The chemistry among the players is really, really good. And, they showed it for a long time. You could see, because the camera stayed there for a long time. And you could see the players, and the chemistry in the squad is very, very good. These players really get along. And that was really great to see. Number 8. Fede is either a horse, has 3 lungs, or I think was born near a nuclear facility. Fede is unbelievable. I mean, that sprint in the 90 plus whatever minute was incredible. And even when he doesn't have the best game, his physical prowess is extraordinary. The amount of running this guy does is incredible. And Fede, that's the Fede that we know and love. And it also sets an example for the rest of the squad. When a player will not stop running until the last, until the final whistle, just fantastic. So Fede, man, you're fantastic. I love that. Number 9. Rudiger brings so much common sense to our defending. When Rudiger defends, okay, he's not like other center backs who try to control the ball and sometimes they put the ball at risk because they want to control it or get fancy. Or Rudiger does not mess around. Okay, the ball comes in a dangerous area. He's like, get the hell out of here. He's so resounding and decisive, and he does not mess around, and he does not risk the ball. There's some clarity. There's a special clarity about the way Rudiger defends that I love, because he's there to defend. Okay, we have people that can make long balls, and Trent, we just talked about that, etc. But you do need this type of defender that is just no messing around. Get the ball the hell out of here. And I think Rudiger brings aggressiveness and clarity to our defending, and I just love to see that. And then, number 10, I would just mention that Militao is key. He's come back, and he is really, it's very, very impressive. I think he's key. He's key as a center back. He's just fantastic. His backtracking, he still has the speed. I mean, there were a couple of backtracking situations yesterday where his speed was on display. Unbelievable. Yeah, how do you do that after 2 knee operations? So I just needed to mention that. Okay, we'll do players real quick. And, obviously tell me what you guys think, because I love hearing what you guys think. Okay, Courtois, what can I say? This guy's a savior. I would give him a 9 or a 10. I don't know what the hell else you expect a goalkeeper to do, but these are situations where 99%, they're supposed to score, but he just somehow makes these miraculous saves. I think Courtois was outstanding. Carreras was good. I think, I'd maybe, by the way, there are a lot of 7s today. I don't know why, but a lot of people felt like a 7. Courtois felt like a 7. I think he defended pretty well. He did a couple of, on a couple of occasions, what I really like, and it's something that Fede does too, where he was being pressed by sort of 3 or 4 players, but he couldn't find a natural outlet, so he just carried the ball. So he's like, okay, well, I'll just dribble past the first dude, and I'll carry the ball up. And he did that on a couple of occasions, and he has the technique to do it. And it's a great resource to have as a player, where he doesn't just need to boot it out. He can play it. He can carry the ball forward himself and get past people in tricky situations. And he did that on a couple of occasions. He went up a lot. I think he ran a lot. Participated, a fair amount in the attack. I think Carreras had a solid match. Okay, Militao, I thought was like an 8. I thought Militao played really, really well. His backtracking is incredible. He still has the speed. I don't know how on earth he does, but he was good in the air as well. Very present in aerial balls. I think Militao had a really good game. I'd give him like an 8 or something like that. Rudiger, I'd give him like a 7. Very, very solid. Very good in the air. Very good in 50-50 challenges. He's not a guy you mess around with. When Rudiger goes into a 50-50 challenge, watch out, because he's going to go in with everything. And I like that aggressiveness, that toughness. I thought Rudiger played a really, really good match. Trent, I'm so upset that he couldn't finish the match. I'm going to give him like an 8. I think his long passing was unbelievable. Defensively, I think he did okay, but I don't think Atleti de Bilbao really challenged us too much defensively. But his contribution in unclogging our play, okay, when you're getting pressed in the back, like in unclogging the play with these amazing long balls, to the wing. This is a fantastic resource that we now have. I was so happy to see it. I think Trent was really, really good last night and showed us what he can do with that right foot. I thought he played very well. I'd give him like an 8. Okay, Tchouaméni, 7, very solid, very consistent. He did lose a couple of balls, but I think he slipped. I mean, the pitch was very wet. It was a bit tricky sometimes, but I think he was sort of in the right place, right time. He's always the reference coming out of the back. Always kind of very strong, first line of defense before the center backs get involved. I thought Tchouaméni had a really solid match. He's had a great year. I'd give him like a 7. Camavinga, same thing, sort of 7 or 8 until he got injured. He stole a ton of balls. He was very quick in distribution, which I like. When Camavinga gets the ball, release it quickly, send it to where it needs to go very quickly. Don't mess around. I thought his ball distribution was quick. It was accurate. He stole a ton of balls, and he scored a goal because he bothered to come up and join the attack, which is what you want to see from that second line. So I was really happy with Camavinga. Fede, I think Fede is 7. It wasn't a very flashy match by any stretch of the imagination. But he got up to try to help in the attack on a few occasions. He did have a couple of ball losses, admittedly. But, that sprint in the 90th minute just tells you everything you need to know about Fede. I think he just had a really solid match. I'd probably give him something like a 7. Okay, Jude was... I think outstanding defensively. Didn't participate as much in attack. I mean, I was looking at his heat map. But he was very, very present in the middle of the pitch. He gave us a lot of muscle. Defensively, he helped a lot in sort of the outlet play and the distribution. Jude is a very athletic dude, and he gives 110%. I thought that, he played more of an 8 position yesterday. I think, at the beginning of the match, I thought, maybe he would kind of play more the 10, but no, he played more of an 8, and it was more kind of defensively focused, but he did a great job yesterday in that position. Okay, Vini, I don't know, man. I think it was maybe like a 6 or something. I think, look, he had some really, really good runs, especially in the first half. He did have some good combination play with Kylian, which I thought was, really good. But then he's got he misses those chances that, only Vini misses. There were a few misses that just, I don't know, I find these so irritating where I think, someone else would have scored. I don't know, Vini... He played well. By the way, he was electric on the left, great runs, got behind his defenders, fantastic. But he did sort of, I don't know, the second half, by the way, he was a lot more quiet in the second half. I think his first half was much better. I'd give him something like a 6, for the reasons I mentioned. Okay, Kylian, what do you want me to say? I mean, I got to give him like a 9 or something. I mean, the goals were fantastic. I mean, one of them was like sprinting through players and then shooting. The other one was just standing still and just a missile from distance. I don't know. This is an exceptional player. This guy is just incredibly good. I don't care. I can't believe there are people out there that don't see this. This guy is a really good player, and I mean, he's just playing out of his skin. I think incredible. He's just lethal these days, and I think he's having an amazing season. I'd probably give him a 9. All right, now you guys. I'm not going to be able to go to the Celta. I attend every home match, as you guys know, but I'm not going to be able to attend the Celta match. I have a family engagement. I have to take the train. It's not even in Madrid, so I have to leave for a day or two. So I won't be able. I don't know if I'll be able to cover it or not. But anyway, yeah, if I have time, I'll give you guys my thoughts. Otherwise, I'll try to, come back for the City match, obviously do a preview and all that. But anyway, thanks for joining me as always. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Love all of you guys. And as always and forever, a la Madrid.